and it's good to see you finally, man, because I feel like it's been forever. Because I'm used to talking to you on a red carpet, usually just before the Toronto International Film Festival kicks off, and you give me all the latest of what's going on with the shortcuts. But we're doing it differently, man, because it's a different world out there on Zoom. Before we talk about what's going on with shortcuts, how are you doing, man, and how are you holding up, and how are you even preparing for all this?
It's nuts. I mean, every time, I mean, everything is done a little differently or a lot differently these days. So I've kind of gotten used to the digital experience. And it's this is I guess my second. I mean, I've worked in different festivals that have all gone sort of online as well, and this year is a lot going on. In person at TIFF, but like for shortcuts, we're fully digital again, except for one screening, which I'll talk about. So it's still the kind of digital thing. And I'm just I'm still grateful that we're able to share and present all these amazing movies, and I think that like it's been great to see these filmmakers kind of the resilience. I mean, people are getting stuff made, getting stuff out in the world despite the challenges. I mean, I think they're as eager as everybody to get back into theaters and travel and do things, but I think that it's amazing to me how people are still getting it done, and I'm just really happy to be able to support them however we can.
And that's the amazing thing. I've been lucky enough to talk to some of the folks, some of them, of course, part of the Shortcut program. And yeah, some of the things that they have done to try to make films during this pandemic, whether it be at night or in their homes or
Yeah.
what, it's amazing. And then to see what they come up with is even more amazing.
Yeah. And that's it. And we saw that we had, again, we thought maybe there'll be a dip in submissions. I mean, we got an enormous number of shorts, a lot by new filmmakers, some established filmmakers, obviously, too. But we had no dip in numbers, really. It was about, kind of around 4,300, as we often get. And there were even a lot of people who maybe hadn't made a film ever before or hadn't made a film in a while, but they're like stuck in lockdown. And you have your family as actors or whatever, you do an animation, some cases people would have films that they maybe started years ago, didn't finish, and now they got time to finish. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on, in addition to people figuring out a way to make a film with the kind of restrictions or conditions they're dealing with, and doing amazing things. So it's been, we get so everything. COVID and the pandemic has kind of touched everything we play in some way, but and we're just grateful that we can keep doing this, even if we can't get back into theaters very much.
I call shortcuts, it's the jewel of TIFF. And the reason why is because I always find those nuggets in there. Do you agree with that?
I love it, and it's a really exciting year for us too. And we've got 38 new films spread across 5 programs that'll all be out digitally. We do have one in cinema screening, which we kind of compiled 9 of the films from Toronto teams together, so they people who didn't have to travel to Canada or travel to Toronto to see there, to be there. So we got this one screening we're calling the YYZ edition, or YYZ if people prefer the other pronunciation. So we've got that happening, and we're just really happy to have also, in addition to all these, a lot of new filmmakers we've got in the program, we've also got this amazing bounty of filmmakers we've played in shortcuts before, coming to TIFF with first features, and that's like some really big deal filmmakers. Danis Goulet, who was my programming partner on Shortcuts, is back with her feature, Night Raiders. People like Tyrone Tommy and Haya Wasim from Toronto. People like Justine Bateman from the States, or Carlo Francisco Manatad from the Philippines. People we've been so thrilled to present in Shortcuts already now. They're kind of going further along their relationships with TIFF, and having great first features too. So we're kind of got we got the next generation behind them, to showcase this year in Shortcuts too.
No, you kind of mentioned about first time in Toronto. I had a chance to speak with, and oh man, my mind is going blank.
Mm.
Two actors who lived together. They did a film. It is about 15
Oh
minutes.
yeah,
You know what?
yeah.
Talk a little bit about that one, please.
Oh, that's amazing. That's actually the first film we're playing in Shortcuts Program 1. It's the first film in the YYZ. Defund by Khadija Roberts Abdullah and Araya Mengesha. And it's amazing. And this is like a great example of this kind of like, ingenuity in the face of COVID, and also, I mean, all the sort of, protests and the fight for racial justice last summer in the wake of George Floyd's murder. And it really is this kind of, fictionalized version of these two. I mean, they're principally actors and writers, and this is their first directorial project together. But their experience as roommates in real life, and they play siblings in the film. But as siblings, as people just kind of having this really intense kind of lockdown, close quarters experience, combined with this feeling of like, oh my God, what's going on in the world? What's going on outside this sort of pocket that we're stuck in? And it results in this really, really sharp, funny, angry, high impact, kind of one of a kind film that we're thrilled to have, which is defund.
What I love about that one too is really, if you wanted a mirror of what people were probably doing at home, this was it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that's it. I mean, we do have a lot of films that are kind of very much about the experience, and in really kind of powerful ways. There's another one I'll mention
Yeah,
called
please.
12 Hours by Paul Skordoff, who won the Best Canadian Short Prize last year for a great one he did called Benjamin Benny Ben. And he really excels at these really intense sort of character studies. And in this case, it's frontline healthcare worker on a 12-hour break in quarantine in like a hotel room somewhere by herself, and just kind of doing all she can to kind of get herself together again, while she's already obviously at this sort of state of exhaustion and anxiety. And but it's again like a really surprising, and it's kind of like, again, kind of a kind of immediacy, because obviously it's from kind of basically based closely on experiences people are having all the time right now. But like, to see it kind of come straight on the screen in this kind of bold cinematic way. I mean, you realize also the advantage of a lot of shorts filmmakers is they can work faster. I mean, they can just get it done and turn it around. And here's this great movie that gives you this experience in a really raw and powerful, direct way.
One of the things I love about the shorts too is the animations. Is there any animations that are standing out? I mean, they're all standouts because they're part TIFF, but any that you can mention? I mean, we know we can't mention all of them, but maybe one or two, please.
Well, I think it's a great year. I mean, and we're always thrilled and grateful to be able to present work by really incredible Indigenous directors from all around the world, especially Canada. And this year we have these two like astonishing animations, both really like masterwork level pieces that we're thrilled to have. One is by a director who has played TIFF many, many times and will be playing TIFF again with an anniversary screening of Adenarjo at the Fast Runner. Zacharias Canuck, who's really one of the giants of cinema, Indigenous cinema worldwide, especially in Canada. So it is his first animation. So it's called The Shaman's Apprentice. It's just this gorgeous stop motion and digital, kind of a story of a shaman facing a very daunting test. And it's just as wild. And then also, we have another filmmaker we've played many times in Shortcuts, Terrell Calder. And this is another stop motion animation called Beneath the Hidden Island of Ethics. And it's just this really beautiful and like powerful, all kinds of, I mean, really brave piece exploring all kinds of themes, and from a sort of from a Métis perspective and Métis experience. And I think both of those are going to blow people away.
I saw that last night, folks. I get
Yeah.
sneak peeks on these things. Blew me. I had to watch
Amazing.
that three different times because there was so much. And I don't want to give too much away, but all I have to say is the eyes draw you in
Yeah.
completely. Amazing piece.
Really incredible piece. I mean, we've been thrilled to play animations by her before, but this is like next level. This is a really incredible piece.
So we have so many great short films to see. How you said digital and you said one. So go back again and how this is going to work for us to get a chance to
So
experience this.
this is the deal. We're sad not to be able to play all 5 programs, but we knew we had one slot that we could use, and the best way forward seemed to be, okay, let's get just try to get the hometowners a chance to see their films, since they don't have to worry about hopefully don't have as many travel complications as people we have who would have been coming in from Australia or Sweden or wherever else. But yeah, this is a chance for us to play 9 of the films. So it's a pretty generous program, like a 2-hour set, which is longer than we usually go. But I think it's well worth it. People are going to get a lot of the experience, and so we're thrilled to have 9 of the films, including Defund, including 12 Hours, a great new one by Albert Shin called Together, Beneath. So it's a really it's a great sort of, it gives you a variety of films too, but certainly shows you all these things that are happening in Toronto from teams. And We did have a Montreal, a Montreal film slip in there, but sort of a Montreal Toronto filmmaker, George Usman Camarati, who's got an amazing drama called Usman that he's playing as we're having at the screening. So yeah, we got YYZ, but then we also have the 5 action-packed film packages with, again, like, and what else was going to plug? Oh yeah, we got stars. We always like to have like the few stars to prove that people you recognize do show up in short. So we have a great one from Britain, really macabre comedy called A Few Miles North, starring Toby Jones, and this great one by called Shark, really wild comedy by, it's a part of a series of shorts by Nash Edgerton, who people may know for his own work, but also as brother to Joel Edgerton. And he stars in it alongside, or Nash appears in it alongside his longtime friend Rose Byrne. So, and Rose Byrne is sort of at her, sort of unleashing her most unbridled comedic self, which is always great to see.
I love this. So where do we go to check out all these films? Social media or website? Where do we go to make sure we know where we can go to see all these?
So on TIFF.net, you'll find the shortcuts package, and you'll see, you'll get to be able the chance to see everything on the digital platform, along with the Q&As I just recorded, which I think I'm so happy to. I mean, most of the time it's funny because I'm doing a lot of these sort of Q&A and interviews, and most of the time I just spend thanking the filmmakers. I'm like, thank you for making this film, thank you for being here, thanks for sharing it with us. So I'm very excited to, again, I'm very thankful. But yeah, so we'll have those packages available, and then people, if they're lucky enough to get tickets, because I think there's going to be a lot of supporters, a lot of Toronto friends and family and crew members for these films, these 9 films that are YYZ. But we're hoping there'll still be some room left over for people who aren't, related to the filmmakers. But,
Oh, I'm just excited about everything because it just feels like the norm is a different world, but there's some norm back, and the Toronto International Film Festival is part of that. And what you do an amazing job. You and your crew, they do almost 5,000 films that you have to see and break this down.
and
Wow.
again, I'm so grateful to all my team members, all the screeners we have, all like the really, I mean, it's really is a big team, smaller than usual because it was because of the pandemic, but we made it through, and I think I'm so grateful to everyone who could, be part of this experience. And so we're just so thrilled to have the audiences out there get to see what we've seen.
We're grateful for you and your team for what you do to give us this experience during this tough, tough time. Jason, thank you so much for the interview. Thank you for what you do. Cannot wait to check out these films because I've seen some, but there's some other ones now that you've mentioned I definitely got to see. Thanks again.
Great. Thanks again, Rudy.